Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Ned. I am a technical evangelist at Caspio. We also have Jason Johnson on the call today, who is the manager of user education and who is also going to be presenting today. Jason, do you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to join us today. We have some exciting content to share with you. Today, we will be showing you different ways of how you can apply the latest features to your applications and how they can be used to enhance the usability of your apps. Please note that today's webinar is not meant to be a how-to, so we will not be showing you how these apps were created inside Caspio. Today's webinar is really meant to invoke ideas and creativity on how, by using these latest features, you can go about building different types of applications. Now, with that said, let's take a look at our agenda for today. First, I will show you a dashboard that I created for today's webinar and how this dashboard incorporates the new Ajax loading feature to improve the overall speed and performance of applications, and also to improve the overall end user experience. For those of you who are not sure what Ajax loading means, it basically provides immediate communication between the Caspio servers and deployed data pages, so users can easily interact with data pages without having to reload the entire web page. Next, we'll have Jason show you two examples of how, by using calculated values, you can build some more sophisticated web forms. And lastly, we'll have once again Jason give you two different examples of the new PDF feature and how, by customizing the PDF editor, you can output reports to make them more visually appealing. At the end, as always, we'll open up the line for questions. If you end up having any questions along the way, please use the questions window, and either myself or somebody from our team will get back to you. Today's webinar is being recorded, and we will email you the link to this presentation and also make the video available on our YouTube channel. Now, before we dive into the examples, I would like to remind everyone of Caspio's 2018 No Code User Conference that will take place here in Santa Clara, and it will be from October 15th until the 17th. First day of the conference will feature our Caspio Academy, where you'll be able to attend either the basic or the advanced sessions. In the basic session, you will learn how to develop an application from scratch and learn about the fundamentals of building apps in Caspio. And in our advanced session, you will learn about JavaScript implementation, triggered actions, SQL, and many other advanced topics that could add dynamic content to your applications. Day 2 and 3 of the conference will feature additional training boot camps, keynote speeches from industry leaders, including John Reimer, who is a VP and principal analyst at Forrester. John is actually the first analyst to coin the term low-code platform. He's been an industry expert in Caspio's market, and we are very excited to have him as a keynote speaker at our conference. In addition, we'll have presentation from Caspio experts, detailed product roadmaps, hackathons, and technical demos. So if you're just starting to evaluate Caspio, or even if you've been a Caspio customer for many years, you definitely don't want to miss out on the conference. For more information, check out our website and be sure to take advantage of our early bird rates that expire at the end of this month. Now, let me just quickly point out a few additional resources for those of you who are currently evaluating Caspio. To learn more about the features that we're covering in today's webinar, check out the release notes in our knowledge base. We also offer an extensive online documentation portal where you can find additional videos and written articles to help you get up to speed with the platform. And for those of you who are not sure if your project is a good fit, then talk to us. We'll give you a free project consultation to let you know if what you're trying to build is a good fit. If you don't have the time or the resources to build applications yourself or to implement these new features, then you can get an expert session with an engineer or hire a professional services team to build it for you. All right, well, now let's go ahead and take a look at the examples that we have prepared for today's webinar. So as I mentioned earlier in the webinar, I put together this dashboard to show you the new Ajax feature. Now, what I've done here is I actually have the same exact dashboard side by side, one that has the Ajax turned on and one that has Ajax disabled, because I want to show you the behavior as you begin to interact with the data pages. Now, before we introduce the Ajax loading feature, many of you can probably relate to this, but every time you click submit or run a search or make an update, we're used to seeing the entire web page reload, including all the data pages until all the information is rendered. Let me actually demonstrate that behavior using the no Ajax, okay? So a lot of you might be familiar with this dashboard view. We have 4 data pages deployed onto a single web page. So we have the ability to search, Directly underneath that, we have our results. And here we have two charts underneath each other. So when you make a search, let's say we select a different status and we click submit. Notice how all the data pages are reloading. The loading bar that you just saw is actually part of this template. So this is not a Caspio thing. Let me do this one more time for you. Click submit. Once again, we're seeing all the data pages disappear until all the data has rendered. Let me show you the same behavior using Ajax turned on. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. Select a different status, click submit, and you can see how much faster that is. There's no loading. The logo, the navigation menu, none of the content had to reload. Everything was completely seamless. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. And by enabling Ajax for your application, it definitely improves the overall end user experience. And you can see performance-wise how much faster everything loads. So if you are building your applications, I definitely recommend that you turn this feature on. And the way you do that in Caspio is actually very simple, using a simple method of this checkbox. So if you check the box, you're going to disable that loading. If you uncheck the box, then you're going to get that seamless effect where everything loads right away. For my second example that I want to show you is actually using the same dashboard. Let's say that we go into the details of this project. Okay, so a lot of you again might be familiar with this look. We have a very simple one-to-many relationship where we see the project details. Over here we have a submission form to create and assign a task for that project. So one-to-many. So let me go ahead and demonstrate this by submitting the form. We're going to submit a new task here, let's say in progress, and we're going to assign this task to maybe Raj. Let's have a test title be test, and let's have the description be test as well. And we're going to set the task deadline to be maybe the 23rd. As soon as I click submit, you can see the behavior. Everything reloaded, including the logo, the navigation menu, and all the data pages. Now let's take a look and see that behavior using Ajax turned on. So we're going to go inside the same project details. I will make a new submission. Let's assign this to Sarah, test, and maybe the deadline date can be the 24th. Click submit. And there's my task added. Nothing reloaded on the website. Everything was completely seamless. And that's what we really want to show you with this Ajax feature, that if you do enable it, it definitely makes for a much better user experience. I'm going to show you one more example of how you can use Ajax. I put together this very fictitious website. Okay, this is a one-page website where you scroll up and down to see the content. And let's say you're scrolling down and you stumble upon a Caspio form. Now, at the moment, I have Ajax turned on. Let me show you the behavior. So we're going to submit this Caspio form. We're going to say Roy Truitt. Email can be roy@test.com. Message can be test. And upon submission, you can see how the end user remains in the same viewing area. We get to see the confirmation message. Now let's see the behavior if we turn Ajax off. So inside my account, I'm going to disable Ajax and click finish. I will refresh one more time. All right, let's see what happens. So Tom Smith, tom@test.com. Password can be test. And as soon as I hit submit, you can see how the website was repositioned to the very top. And now the end user has to scroll back down to once again find that confirmation message. So if you enable Ajax, the end user will remain in the same viewing area. They can see the confirmation right there and then. If you disable Ajax and you click submit, the website will automatically reposition itself to the very top. So that's another benefit of enabling Ajax on your applications. All right, well, that's all I had for you on the Ajax. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to turn the presentation over to Jason, who's going to be giving us examples of calculated values and also the PDF reports. And I will be back at the end of the webinar.
Hello, everyone. My name's Jason. I'm going to be the presenter right now to show you the information about calculated values and information about PDF reports. As Ned had said, you can find more information regarding these in our release notes, so you can go to our how-to article at any time and review the additional information. What I want to do today is, though, show a couple of demos of these two options and give you some best practices. First of all, with the release of Caspio 13.0, these calculated values will now become available as a form element in your submission forms. These calculated values are going to allow you to display a calculation as a field in your submission form as you enter data or change data on the form. In the past, to have a similar behavior to this, you had to have some sort of a JavaScript running. Or as an alternative, you wouldn't show the displayed value on the page. You'd have a formula field at the table level recording the calculation. So today I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how these can be used. Now, please note, these calculations can use functions, constants, values from other parts of the table, or even other tables, and they do save the results to the table. So first of all, let's take a look at an older example. So this is an example of a JavaScript that I created that's just on change doing a calculation. So as I enter things in, you see the calculation is adding up. And if I change something, it changes. Well, in the past, we could use these types of calculations, but this relied on me using a JavaScript to do this. Now, what we're able to do is if I edit this page, we can replace that entire JavaScript with a calculated field. So, once again, in my submission page, I'm going to edit that. I'm going to come to my footer. You know what? We don't need the script anymore. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go to my total hours and I'm going to change that in the dropdown over to a calculated value. Now, this screen will be very familiar to you from formula fields and calculated fields. I can now reference and create that same calculation. So what I'm going to do is just insert each of these fields and just add them together. Let me quickly add these few together. And what you'll find is this completely replaces the need to have that JavaScript. And one of the issues with having a JavaScript of your own is you have to make sure that any other behaviors of pages, such as the new Ajax behavior, can conflict with when you're loading thing or using JavaScripts on load. You can simply go through replace this. I'm going to verify my equation. It's a valid formula. Let's take a look at this page now. Slightly different behavior. Now, if I just type in, you'll see it's calculating as I enter in my values. I enter in different options and I can even change these and it calculates it. This is a very simple example, but if you had JavaScripts in the past, you may want to come back and remove that script. And I'll go ahead and add the calculated value as the replacement. Now, what I want to show you though is a little more elaborate, a little more real world type demo. What I have here is a demo application we created to generate a quote for car loans. It's there to really set up your monthly payment and show you in the end how much you'd actually pay for the loan. This could be used as like a quote generation where someone could submit this data and you could then contact them. So I can come in and change the fields, let's say 60,000. And you see it recalculates. I change my interest rate, it recalculates. And then depending on my loan period, you can see the different amounts. So live on the page, someone's able to create these calculations, see it, and this will submit to the actual table in these fields. Let's take a brief look at how this data page is created and built. So I'm going to open up my car loan calculator. And once again, this is on a submission form. These calculated values as of right now will only exist on submission forms. They are not yet available on details and single record updates. That's going to require a bit more development, but it is in our future plans. So don't worry, we'll be soon releasing those as well. So let's take a look. What I have here is my monthly payment. Now, this calculation may look very complicated. It's not. It's just some multiplication, some addition. It's really just a loan formula we've converted over to reference the fields in this page. You're going to be able to access, as you see in this, math functions. So we've actually used the power function in this one, where you see right here. And then you have other functions as well that you can reference, very similar to how a calculated field would work. So both my monthly payment and total cost will reference values on the web form as they're entered. And once you click submit, it will save that final calculated value to the table. So this is one just a simple arithmetic that we're doing inside of Caspio. The next step up would be maybe getting into some conditional type behaviors or a little more function usage. So we take a look. I have a project plan tool. The idea of this tool is I'm going to enter in a title, set up a project, but I want to enter a start date and an estimated end date. What I would like to see though is I want to see the average project length of all my projects that currently exist in my table. So I want to get that value and display it right here. I also, when I enter my start and end date, I'd like to calculate what that project duration will be. I want it to compare that value to my average length and then conditionally tell me, am I above or below that completion time? Another thing you're going to see me show is with these two, I have a rule set up. If this project duration is greater than my average, I want to have a text area appear and be required for me to justify why that is longer. What this is going to do is show that we can use these calculated values to help work with our existing rules. So let me enter in some test info. Call this project one, test project. We'll choose a start date. We're going to get started on 24th. Choose a end date, and let's say initially I'm going to finish October 24th. See right away, it calculated it, did the comparison. It's below the completion time. Let's change this date though and push it out a bit. Let's say we're going to go all the way to 2019. Now you see it's 174 days versus my average of 85. This then changed my completion time to above and has now prompted me to enter a reason why I'm going to exceed my average project duration. What I'm going to show you in a moment is behind the scenes here. I have a couple of different calculations going on. I'm actually using a subquery with a select statement to get this value. I'm using a date diff equation to get this. And I'm using an if else, or in Caspio considered a case statement, to do this conditional statement. So let's briefly take a look at how each of those are constructed. So we come over to the data pages. Let me edit my project calculation page. And we need to jump to our configure fields. Now, in this case, the first field that's getting that average is actually a virtual field. I'm not actually wanting to record that average to the table. I just wanted to display the average to the user. And I also want to calculate this value so I can use it both in my conditional statement and so I can use it in my rule. You can see here I have my statement where I'm selecting the average from this field from this table. Now, on the outsides of this, I have it wrapped in an is null. This is just more for the user experience so that they can see if there's no values in the table, it doesn't show a blank. It'll show a 0 in its place. My actual calculation for project duration is using date diff. That's actually one of our functions we have here. If I scroll down, I'm using this equation. So it applies this and calculates in days, in my case, the difference between these two dates I've put in. And then finally, I have my virtual field. This is a case statement. So case when, now this long piece here is basically saying the calculation of the date difference, so my day's duration, is greater than that average that it's getting, then show this message. If not, show this other. You can do ands and ors into these when statements, and you can have multiple when statements. In a moment, I'm going to show you where you can see some of the resources for that type of information as well. Now, what we have here as well is a section with our text area. I'm quickly going to show you the rule. The rule here is comparing two calculated values together. So I can have conditional behaviors happening on my calculated values and then use those behaviors to determine how my rules will behave and what actions will occur. So if my duration days is less than virtual one being my average across all, then I'm hiding that entire section. And then I have another rule saying the opposite. If it's greater, then make that field required. So, in looking at those few little options that you saw there, hopefully those give you a better idea of how some of the features with calculated values can be used. Let me quickly just show you calculations in reports, just in case you're looking for a reference on where to find a bit more information on case statements and those subqueries. If you go under our how-to article, you'll find calculations and reports, and you'll see examples of conditional cases for calculated fields. And below those, you will then have a section that gives you examples of subqueries and calculated fields. There's some use cases there that you can take a look at that'll help you actually better understand how to make use of those. So with that, I want to go over and I want to show you some information regarding our new PDF generator. Now, at first, we just want to point out you could still use the old PDF generator option. If you have that working on your pages right now, it won't stop working. That option will still function. This new PDF generator option will be available in all report data pages, also including your pivot table reports and combined chart and report data pages. This is going to be enabled very similar to how you used to enable the option to allow download as XML or CSV. Now, also, we're going to now allow you to customize that PDF file. You'll be able to set the orientation, page size, page rank, and the margin and header. So let me demonstrate how we would enable this and also demonstrate how the new Excel and CSV formats for download are enabled. So I have a basic report page here. Let's edit this. And what I want to do is I want to turn on the option of the PDF generator. Step through your pages. If you step all the way through, you're going to get to your results page options. Under the advanced tab, depending on your account type, you will see the PDF option. Please note, the PDF option is going to be available on performance level accounts and above. All accounts, though, will be seeing the Excel and CSV. So I now have the option to enable each of these, and I'm going to turn on the PDF. I have options here that I can configure it, but right now I just want to see what it'll look like as a default PDF page. So here's my very simple report. As you can see, I'm showing 15 records per page. I only have a little over 20 records total. I click on the download data. I'm prompted then with the option of which of these we wish to do. I choose PDF. Give it a second. It actually downloaded my PDF. Let's actually reference it. And you see here my PDF, it just dumped it into just a single page PDF form. Now my page actually was divided by every 15 records. The PDF on default is just going to list them straight through. But we can configure that. Let me show you how that can be done. So I'm going to exit this form. Now let's take a look at another example. I have one I've modified slightly. So before I show you the modifications, let's just do the same thing. Let's download as PDF. Notice this time it loaded another page. Now I have a nice logo on the top, a title. It's actually now broken up by a set number of records for each page. So I can have a little more finite control over that. Let me briefly show you how we can set those up. If I go under Edit, we then can jump right away to our results page options and go to our Advanced tab. If I click on this little pencil icon, this is where I can now set up all my other options. I can set my orientation to portrait or landscape, different page sizes if I wish to force that, margins, or even a custom margin. You have different behaviors. I can have it automatically save the file. That was the default you saw before, or I could have it open up in another tab. I'm now forcing a page break every 15 records. Maybe I only want to see so many on each PDF page. You can have it set to repeat the table header of every page, or maybe you only want that logo display on the first page. You can do that. And then set your heights. Now, the nice thing about the page header and footer is you're going to have the what you see is what you get editor, are similar to our HTML blocks and other headers and footers, where you can immediately insert an image just by clicking on this image option and referencing the URL or possibly an app parameter, preset styles, and preset other options. So you can very quickly customize the look of your header or footer. As you see in the footer below, they've actually inserted different system parameters. So you have these parameters, a couple page number, total pages, maybe data page name. If you wish, you can even go in and customize this code yourself if you wish to add anything or modify it yourself. So that's just a brief display of the PDF generator. Please note this PDF generator is going to be for the report page. It is not yet available for details pages. If you are looking to do details pages, you will need to use the existing PDF generator with that URL. If you have questions on actually how to go about using that existing PDF generator, please just reach out to our support team. We would be more than willing to assist you. So that's the brief demo of those two features. I'd like to let everyone know if you have additional questions at all, please refer to some of our support options. We have many how-to articles and videos. We do some weekly trainings and other support resources, live phone calls or chats. Another great option to look at to actually get some help is what's called expert sessions. These are one on one sessions with a Caspio engineer designed to help you work through any problems you may have. So you get to the point where you're completely stuck, just give us a call and we'll be more than willing to assist you with that. So, with that, I want to thank everybody for attending the webinar. Please take a look at the information of our No Code 2018. We'd love to have you out here. If you think you have any stories to share, you think that everyone else might benefit, please apply as a speaker as well. We'd love to hear from you. Once again, we're going to be providing this webinar as a recording. You'll soon be able to see that. We'll email that out. And in the meantime, if you have any questions at all, or if you're stuck at all, reach out to our support team. They're there to guide you. If needed, we'll set you up with a consultation, or we'll get you an expert session to help you move along. Once again, on behalf of Ned and myself, I'd like to thank everyone for attending and looking forward to working with everyone in the near future.